Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you live to the inaugural episode of Behind the Terriers, a brand new program powered to you by Terrier Sports Network. Alongside women's soccer head coach Justine Lombardi, I'm Joey Jarzinka. We cannot thank you enough for tuning in here. This program is going to be highlighting all of the community members in athletics, or the athletic community, rather. So, head coach Justine Lombardi. Justine, how are you? Thank you so much for joining me here on this. What day is today? Friday? Oh my gosh. I think we're completely losing
Who knows,
track.
right?
Yeah, it's crazy. Thank you
Day
for joining me.
43, I think we're on here.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. How you doing? How are things? Are you staying healthy? Are you staying safe?
I am good. Yeah, healthy, safe, can't complain. Just kind of adjusting to this new lifestyle, but it's going okay, as good as we can hope for.
But let's get down to business and really who Justine Lombardi is. And I know all of the St. Francis community would love to find out who Justine Lombardi really is. And now I think is the perfect time to figure it out because we have all the time in the world.
Absolutely.
So how did you end up first off, how did you end up at Quinnipiac, number one? And then eventually you became an assistant coach under your former, head coach.
Yeah.
I think Dave Clark was his name.
Yes,
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's pretty funny, actually. I grew up in Connecticut and I played for CFC, Connecticut Football Club, since I was 10 years old, probably. So Steve Coxon was my coach from the very beginning, who was also another assistant coach at Quinnipiac. And Dave Clark took over my team when we were 15. So
wow.
I never actually had any plans to attend Quinnipiac. It wasn't really on my radar. I didn't know much about it. My plans actually were to go far away from home as
really?
I could. I was like ready to get out of there. But yeah, I fell in love with his coaching style and really enjoyed playing for him and kind of what they had to offer there at Quinnipiac. So I ended up going there, and that's where I, could spend my college career. I never actually, and once again, never really saw myself getting into coaching. I was going to school for athletic training. I knew I was interested in sports. I knew I liked the sports medicine side of things. But Dave kind of saw something in me, kind of forced the captaincy on me at a young age. Probably wasn't quite ready, but you're put in those situations and you just learn. Started coaching to make some money. I thought this is just easy money doing something I love. Obviously that developed into much more. And I decided to stick with coaching after I graduated, and I went and I did 2 years at University of Bridgeport. Once again, it started out as kind of just a job for me. What do you want to do after college? Oh, well, I can't imagine giving up soccer, so I'm just going to go and do this for a little bit while I figure it out. Little did I know, kind of what I figured out is that was kind of what I could see myself doing for the rest of my future. So it was an easy transition for me to go back to Quinnipiac after 2 years of University of Bridgeport. I learned a lot there. I picked up some really great skills, great coaching staff there. Forever kind of friends and mentors in there. So when I went back to Quinnipiac, it was an easier transition for me because most of my teammates had since graduated, and I wasn't in that strange position of still feeling like a player, but also being on the coaching staff and stuff like that. So it was a good time for me to go back. And that's kind of that. So once I kind of felt that I was ready to go off on my own, and Dave Clark has probably more knowledge to share than anybody I possibly know. So it literally did take me from the time that I was 15 until 2 years ago, probably, to soak up all of that knowledge. But when I was ready to go, I was kind of just poking around on the NCAA job website, and that's when the St. Francis job kind of popped up. Kind of like a dream come true to me, to build my own program. It's something that I've always admired Anson Dorrance for doing. I'm kind of obsessed with him, as my friends know, which it's a strange obsession. Don't tell him. I never thought that that would be able to actually happen for me, because women's soccer is a really popular sport now. Most programs are up and running and well
Yeah.
on their way. So this kind of popped up, and this is not necessarily the reason why I wanted this job, but as you know, when I played at Quinnipiac, we were in the NEC. So the NEC is
Oh,
near and
right.
dear
Yeah.
to my heart, and it's been a long time goal of mine to win an NEC championship. And I thought that when I graduated, in 2009, when I was done my playing career, I shed quite a few tears, because it was a big goal of mine that I never was able to accomplish.
Right.
And then I'm like, hey, wait, all right, maybe we can do this after all. And
Yeah.
here we are.
Now that you are here at St. Francis, first season is completed already. Moving forward, first season's done. Really good stuff. What are your plans for down the road?
And going through that season was a huge learning experience for myself and for the team. It was not easy.
Right.
Probably, definitely one of the hardest seasons I've been through in my life, but a lot of positives to take away from it. And it takes, a couple weeks, maybe a couple months after the end of the season to really be able to process and see those positives. But we feel really great about the group that we did bring in. We know they were lacking experience, but now they do have that year under their belt. We've brought in 4 transfers in January who actually were thankfully able to spend a couple months with the team and really get integrated. As you know, we've got a really great group, very friendly. It doesn't take long for them to take the new players in under their wing and make them part of the family. So they fit in super well, and we actually think that they add something that we were missing in the last season. And as we add new players, and as the incoming freshmen come in, we've got a big class coming in again next year. As they come in and add value to the group, we only think things are going to go up from here.
Yeah. So you've brought in 4 official new.
Yep.
Now last year you had a few players come in that had Division I experience already, such as your captain Sarah DeWitt. She came from actually just down the road at LIU Brooklyn. Yep. Now you bring in these 4 and you integrate them with a team that now has 1 full year of experience under their belt. How big is that for those now, I guess I want to say, the second year players for your program?
Yeah, so they complement us very well on the field. Obviously, unfortunately, we lost Maggie Boston mid-year, so we were looking to replace her position directly, which is where Lizzie came in. And as you know, we struggled to score goals, so that was kind of where Barbie and Lauren came in as players who played in that kind of offensive position. But they've actually managed to kind of add a lot to our team off of the field as well.
Now let's talk about the one who's going to be a second-year keeper for you in Khalil Keshwar, and what she did this year in the CONCACAF U20 World Cup in the Dominican Republic for her native Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah. How big is that for the team? And not only that, but also how big is it for the locker room, what she brought from the international stage, and now she brings it here to Brooklyn Heights?
Yeah, so we were super excited for her. Well-deserved, position on her part. She brings a lot to the team, just in general. She's a great person to have around. She's a great personality. Our recruiting call, I think we talked for something like an hour and a half, and we were at some point in the conversation we were talking about American football and the NFL.
Yeah, a little different.
So she's a great person to have around, but she also kind of knows what it takes to get to that next level, and she's willing to do anything and everything she needs to do to get there. We saw her definitely as a player. Obviously she's 6'2", she's very athletic. She's got that raw talent, but that doesn't mean that you don't have to work every day in and out. So for her to get that opportunity to be called up with the national team, super exciting for us. The girls were really excited about it. we did we did have to get creative, and some coaches needed to jump in goal for our training sessions while she was gone. Unfortunately, she was away. She came back right before spring break. I gave her a couple days off because they had a successful run, and she played every minute of every game for the national team there. So we gave her a couple of days off, and then they went on spring break, and then we never got to hear about all of her stories and everything like that. So that's actually something that we're looking forward to hearing from her about. Maybe in one of our Zoom meetings, maybe when we get back, who knows. But.
Now, something that I was unaware of until Rob DeVita told me. We'll give him a little shout out here. Project Flary, it's called.
Yes.
So give us a little synopsis about this, what this is all about. And I believe someone named Sarah DeWitt was a part of this as well.
Yes, absolutely. So, with everything going on and the girls back home, everything's now turned virtual. We had quite a few community service events planned for the spring, obviously being on campus, and it was all hands-on stuff. So as we started to adjust to this new normal, we were trying to think of ideas of things that we could do virtually to still do our part to give back and do that community service. So it was Sarah's idea, or she brought it up to me in the first place. So this is something that her family's been involved with for a couple of years. So she shared with me the idea. I loved the concept. We were able to talk to the founder of the project, Emily. She came in and did a little presentation in our Zoom meeting and absolutely fell in love with it. Of course, it's a great cause. Of course, there's a lot of great causes out there. How do you choose just one? The reason this one resonated so much with us is how much I could tell that she cares about the kids that she's working with, which I hope is something that our athletes feel about us as a coaching staff too, because we do care so much about them, and everything that we do is geared towards them. Even if there is a little bit of tough love in there sometimes.
Yeah.
But so she you can tell how invested and how much energy and how proud she is of the students and everything that they do. It's got a real personalized touch to it. We received a profile on the student that we're going to be sponsoring. There's pictures, there's favorite foods, favorite things to do, a lot about them. Like before we even actually have gotten a chance to know this student, we kind of have a glimpse into her life. So it's
pretty cool.
Been really cool. And this is actually something that I hope we continue to do for years to come. It's been really cool for the players to see how much of an impact they can have by just donating something as simple as $5. Collectively, if we all donate that $5, we can change somebody's life.
It brings you guys together, and just even $5, whatever it may be, you give that little bit, and it really can make a huge difference. But also, really, something else that really this screams is that you guys are a family, and you guys do all of this together. You ladies do this together. And that's the biggest thing, because I think we said it earlier. There is no I in team. You all do it together. It's really remarkable stuff, admirable stuff that you guys do. So just referring back to the article for those that are watching, quote, by sponsoring a child in Haiti, the women's soccer team will be able to provide him or her with the opportunity of obtaining an education. According to Project Flary in Haiti, only 20% of middle school and high school age kids stay in school. So really good stuff there for the women's soccer team, for you, Coach, and the positive vibes that you are infusing into, bringing the new culture into St. Francis College, Brooklyn. Really, really good stuff. So another thing is that during this time, Zoom is becoming humongous, and we are utilizing it to every single strength that it has. And one of which is the athletics department is doing something called, I guess, a leadership type thing. And you were on today. You and assistant coach Matt Anderson were on today, and your topic was building resilience in times of change. So originally we were going to have a preview of what this was. This interview was moved till today, Friday. So now that it's all over with, give us a little bit about what you guys spoke about today, or
absolutely.
The times of change was.
Yeah, so we feel that it was good timing and it fit perfectly. So resilience is actually a topic that we've been talking about all year, and it's something that is a quality that our team has, and it was very necessary throughout the difficult season that I had, and then also on top of that, now what we're dealing with here. And I think we really tried to make the presentation very interactive. I know that like my players personally are kind of sick of sitting in front of the screen and listening to somebody like lecture at them. So I wanted to give them a chance to share, and we really talked about all of the difficulties kind of that have come up because of this crisis that we're in. And then we took a look into how can we solve those problems or move past those problems or see the positive kind of in this situation. One of the positives for me, obviously the negative would be that I don't get to see my team every day and we don't get to play soccer. The positive has been I've been really able to connect with some of my players on a more personal level when it's not always all about soccer, and it's not about playing time or things like that happen out on the field. So just looking at things from a different perspective, flipping the mindset. How can we use this to grow? I think we already have, and it's only developed that resilience within our team and within ourselves individually. Now take that forward a couple months, hopefully, and how do we use that out on the field? A bad call goes against us, we get scored on. How do we flip that and make it into a positive and come back and succeed from it?
In your soccer career, in life in general, is there an inspirational person that you look up to, or not only that, but in the soccer field, or in the field of soccer rather? Is there someone that you look up to when you coach or?
So my childhood hero, I guess we'd say, while everybody else on my team and my friends, they were like, Mia Hamm, my favorite player was always Michelle Akers.
Okay.
So she's somebody who, I mean, of course, has tons of recognition and tons of accolades, but sometimes fell behind Mia Hamm in terms of things. But I think a lot of people don't know a lot about her, but having her as my favorite player and admiring her accomplishments and things that she's overcome has kind of shaped me as a player, how I play and train and perform, and then also what I value in the players that I bring in. So Michelle Akers is probably one of the toughest and hardest working, like just beast of a player that you just don't want to have to go up against. So I really admired that about her. But then the adversity that she also had to overcome, and I know way too much about her, so I'll save all of that information for another day. But she was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome, and now that's something that usually slows people down significantly, even in their day-to-day lives, never mind being a professional athlete. So it changed her game a little bit, and there were certain things that she had to do differently. But bringing it back to the resilience, she's probably one of the most resilient people out there. She took what she could control, and she made it into the best situation for her and had a very successful career. But yeah, so I've always loved her. I always admired her. I had a picture of her on the back of my door with an article about her that really kind of inspired me each and every day. And yeah.
Coach, I cannot thank you enough for coming on to Behind the Terriers, the inaugural episode. The first one, you're the most special one right now. This is great. There you go. Absolutely. We're gonna wrap it up with that. Head coach Justine Lombardi, everybody. I'm Joey Jarzinka. For Luis Velez, Rob DeVita, and for the rest of our crew at St. Francis and Terrier Sports Network, I'm Joey Jarzinka saying so long, and we'll see you next time.